What up YouTube? I'm back with another episode review of Black Clover. It was a great episode. The last two episodes have been action packed, and this arc in general has been action packed, but this week's episode was amazing because we got from the fight against Vanica versus the fight against Dante, and both of these fights have been really good, and both of these fights have been, kind of one-sided in a way, but this week's episode I liked it a lot, so let's get right to it. So at the end of last week's episode, Noel, Loropechica, and Nero thought that they sealed Vanica, but obviously that didn't happen. We all knew that was not gonna happen because Vanica is already really strong, and then she has the demon Medicula inside of her, so there was no way that she was going to be sealed. We saw it in this week's episode how much stronger she is than everybody else in that battlefield, stronger than Noel, Loropechica, and obviously Nero. So it wasn't surprising at all. I just like, her new form. It seems like she's half demon and half human, and it seems like the two parts can really take over the body. We saw how they kind of have double personality. We saw a side of Vanica and then the side of Medicula, and I thought that was pretty cool. It's different than the other guys from the Dark Triad, but still it was pretty cool. I really like her form. Now we know why she had an eye patch. It's because she was trying to hide a part of the demon that was in her, maybe, or maybe if she didn't have the eye patch it would put out too much power. I don't know, but I really like her new form. I don't know how much percentage she has right now, maybe 70% or 80%, I don't remember well, but I like her form. It's pretty cool. We learned that the closer that Medicula gets to Loropechica, the more her curse hurts, so that was really interesting. And something that we realized in this week's episode is that Vanica and Medicula actually cursed the water spirit that Loropechica has. Her name is Undine, obviously, and she's been through it all with Loropechica. We saw the flashback and everything, so it's interesting that a spirit can actually get cursed by a demon. That's really interesting. But something that I really want to talk about is Noelle, because she's gone so far since the first time that we were introduced to her. At first she couldn't really use magic because she was poor at using it, so she needed, a wand to use it. And now just look at her, just look at how fierce she looks, and there was multiple shots in this week's episode that I really liked. This is one of them, when she used her point blank Sea Dragon War on Vanica and Medicula. It was really cool. She's become so strong. She's one of the strongest characters in the show right now. Even though she's not able to defeat Vanica, she's still really strong, so like I said, she's gone so far since the first time that we've been introduced to her. Just look at these shots, it's just amazing, man. Just amazing how fierce she's become and how unafraid she is. Obviously she has a little bit of hatred right now toward Vanica and Medicula because they killed her mother, but just look at these shots, man. These are all amazing shots. Shout out to the animators. They did a great job with the art, of this week's episode and the last few episodes, with all the action that we got. It's been pretty good. It wasn't, special like some of the episodes that they've already done, but it was still pretty good. Another shot that I really like of, Noelle right there. It's just amazing, man. And yeah, she's my favorite character, and I just like the way that she is right now. She's fierce, she's unafraid, and she go at it with anyone, and we saw how much her magic has improved and how much more powerful she's become, so yeah, man, I just wanted to shout out Noelle, because she's become really strong, and she's been my favorite character since the beginning. Anyway, that was it for this side of the battle, because like I said earlier in the review, in this week's episode we saw the battle between Noel, Loropechica, Nero versus Vanica and Megikula. And then in the second part of the episode we saw the fight that had Yami versus Dante and Megikula. And this fight was also pretty good. We learned something that was really interesting. Something that Dante said is that the reason why he can't unleash 100% of his power is because they can't do that until the door to the underworld is open. So right now I think the most that he can do maybe is 80%, and that's what we saw in this week's episode. And 80% is still really strong, but we saw how Yami is also really strong. We saw how good he is in this week's episode. Like I said, the animation wasn't top tier, but it was still pretty good. And the technique that Yami used on Dante and Megikula was pretty awesome. I think it was called thrust or something like that, and he just destroyed him. It was really well done. Multiple shots of that attack was amazing. Like I said, there was a lot of great shots in this week's episode. Shout out to the animation crew. They did a great job. But yeah, man, it was a good fight. I enjoyed that fight a lot. I've been enjoying that arc a lot, even though it hasn't been special animation wise, it's still been pretty good. When Dante said that he can't unleash 100% of his power, he kind of thought about Asta in a moment, because he doesn't know if Asta can actually do that, because he's a little bit different. It seems like his demon is a little bit different than what the Megikula is, even though he's supposed to be the strongest demon of all. So that was an interesting look and thought that Dante had about Asta and his demon. So to be continued on that. Obviously Asta is the main character, so maybe we'll see him unleashed at 100% at some point, maybe before the gate of the underworld is open. We'll see, but that was, I thought, pretty interesting. But obviously Yami wasn't able to defeat Dante. Obviously Dante has unlimited power basically with Megikula within him, and he can actually regenerate his body. I don't think if that's his actual magic or if the gravity magic is his magic. I think that regenerating his body and everything, body magic, is Megikula's magic, because we saw how that worked with Vanica and her subordinates, so I'm guessing that that's Megikula's magic. But yeah, man, he can regenerate, and then there was that form right there that he has, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, man, Yami was trying his all to defeat him, but he was regenerating like it was nothing. So he needed some help, obviously, and the help that he needed was Asta. Throughout the episode we saw how Asta wanted to get up, but he couldn't because he was kind of messed up. And then when Yami called upon him to help him beat Megikula and Dante, that's when he woke up basically and stood up to fight beside Yami. So I just can't wait for that fight. It's gonna be amazing. But now I understand the key visual for this arc and the opening, because we've been seeing how Yami and Asta are side by side fighting, and we haven't really seen that in past arc. Asta and Yami fight side by side, but now I understand why the key visual was what it is, and the opening, because right now they got to fight together to defeat Dante and Megikula. So it's gonna be amazing. But let me know what you thought about this week's episode in the comments down below, and let me know what you think is gonna happen next. I do back Clover reviews every Tuesday, so subscribe for that. There's only like 3 episodes left for the series. I don't know when it's coming back, but it's ending at the end of this month, so stay tuned for the last 3 episodes of this series so far. Like I said, I do other anime related things like Jujutsu Kaisen reviews on Fridays. It's coming back this Friday. I've missed the last 2 Fridays, the last 2 episodes, but it's spring break right now for me, so I'll have time to do reviews for that. I do One Piece reviews on Saturdays. I've missed the last few episodes too for that, but I have time, so it will be back. I also do Boruto Naruto Next Generation reviews on Sunday mornings, and then I do Attack on Titan the final season reviews on Sundays too. So stay tuned for all of that. I think that Boku no Hero is coming back this month with his season 5, so stay tuned. I'm gonna review the whole season. I think it's still like 24 or 25 episodes, so I can't wait for that. But yeah, man, like, comment, subscribe, it would help my channel a lot, and follow me at Anime Specialist on Twitter and Instagram, man. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Anime Specialist out. Peace.